kind of says hi. He also kind of says, I don't want to be in the video. He says, Mom, I don't want to be in the video. Okay, you can get out. I wanted him to say hi. He's been kind of moping around. He's on one pill every other day, which is great. He had a flare-up that had him on a full pill every day, along with special food, but he's doing better. And instead of giving him a half pill every day, I'm going to give him a full pill every other day and see if that evens him out. If you need more information, talk to Mom, because I'm not going to talk about my dog's illness on the web, because it's gross. Your video was a very pleasant surprise. It was kind of a pain in the butt to watch, but I think that was more of my internet and or YouTube, and not so much you, because of the way it was loading, and the way it would like freeze up, and it was like jumpy, and so I think it was more of that than it was you. But it was very nice to see that you were able to finally upload a video, and it was quite exciting, because none of my other subscriptions are updating, so it was something to watch. I was trying in other takes to touch on everything you talked about, but I think that some of it just doesn't need responded to. As far as your flight stuff, you're going to have to take a connecting flight, most likely. Sometimes you can luck out and find a direct flight that doesn't cost an arm and a leg and half your soul, but most of the time they're very expensive, and you're going to have to make a connecting flight in order to get the cost down. It's just what you have to do. Mom hasn't talked too much more about it than what I already knew about and what you've already told me about, so, I mean, she's very stressed right now. Don't nag her too much. You know how stress affects every woman in our family, and Mom and myself are exceptionally prone to breaking down when stress happens too much. And the last I talked to her, I called her for a basic question of my freaking out over my teeth, and she was so spaced out in that conversation because stress is just pulling her everywhere. Just don't. You'll get a flight, everything will work out, just remember and breathe and whatnot. As far as meeting Aunt Jean, I don't know how well that's going to work, simply because there is nothing in between Austin and Houston. If you look at a map, it's about 3 to 3.5 hours between downtown Austin and downtown Houston. Obviously, we won't be moving from those 2 points, but in between, the midway point is Columbus, Texas, and I can't think of anything that's in Columbus, Texas. And if anybody from Columbus, Texas ever sees this video, I'm sorry, but there doesn't appear to be anything in there. There also doesn't appear to be any state parks or anything in between it, so I don't really know what we would do. It's 3 to 3.5 hours. It's probably going to be about 3.5 hours to drive from where we live to where she lives. And if we did a day trip, that would be about 7 hours on the road. If we did an overnight, I don't think either one of our homes, hers or ours, is big enough to hold that many people. So I don't really know how well it's going to work, but we can try. I don't know. Just don't cement anything with her without talking to me, in case like the dates that are good for her aren't good for us or something. And do try to get the dates, at least figure out what dates you want to come down cemented soon, so that we can tell our friend Paul, who stays with us from time to time, so that he doesn't try to stay in town the same week that you're in town, because that could be very crowded and awkward. As far as the one, I won't talk about all your class stuff that you talked about, because that was a lot, but the professor, he might be busy. You also might not have put the correct information in the subject bar, and it might have kicked it in the spam, or he might have ignored it because it didn't have the proper identification in it or whatnot. He doesn't know everybody he teaches. So just, if he doesn't respond by this evening, send him another email. Don't mention the email before, and try not to whine. Just tell him that you have a conflict of schedules, and that you can't make it to that tutoring session. You'd like to set up office hours with him. Don't go into the whole, I'm a young white woman who doesn't want to go near campus because it's in a sketchier part of town and stuff. That just, it's bogus excuses that he doesn't care to listen to, even if he understands them. Just tell him that you have a conflict of schedule and that you want to make an appointment with him. If he still doesn't respond, then try to get help from Zach, or if you know anybody else in your classes, try to get help from them and just hunker down. It sucks. I've had it happen to me in college with a psychology course, and it hurts, but it's something that we grow from and we learn from. So that's about all I wanted to talk about from your video, because everything else pretty much explains itself and doesn't really require a response. I've been keeping busy over here. For a while I was having a lot of insomnia, but after being sick I've been able to get some good solid sleep and be more rested and feel better. Um, I've been crafting a lot. Last month was my biggest success and achievement. Talk about getting achievements, life achievement. I was able to complete this giant thing. You can't even really see all of it in the video. You've seen it on Facebook. I wore it with that black polka dotted dress that I made. I made it in less than 4 days, or about 4 days, and then it blocked overnight. It's super warm, and I love wearing it. I was trying to wear it around my neck in the videos, but it makes me look like I'm just throwing a blanket around my neck and I don't have any other clothes on. But it also keeps me warm around the house because it's too hot to wear long sleeves. But it's also sometimes too cold to just wear the tank top, so I throw this on, and it's comfortable, and I like that. I haven't posted this one on the blog, which is why I want to show you all the other projects I've done. I've put on the blog, but my camera's dead currently, so I can't. I put a lining into a blue hoodie that I had to kind of make it more unique. Ooh, that was pretty neat to do. It looks really cool. Nick loves it. It's not as perfect as I'd like because the lining that I made is actually a little bit too small for the hood, but it works and I enjoy it. I've also been writing a little bit more again, and by writing I mean I've been planning, because the story that I have in my head is set in kind of a fantasy world, and one of the biggest things you have to do is be able to explain your universe, since it can be very different. And so I was trying to do that on my own and using like resources online, and I was just kind of crashing and burning at it. But I don't want to give up on it because I'm having a lot of fun with it. And so I went to a bookstore yesterday and I bought books on it. I bought 2 books on that just kind of help with like planning and like research and whatnot, since I know how to do research, but I don't know quite what I should be researching for my writing. And so these 2 books are helping, and one of them is written by a man named Orson Scott Card, who wrote Endergame and is a sci-fi and fantasy writer. And then I bought a book that has a whole bunch of character archetypes in it, which I can see some of my characters in, and a lot of other people, well, a lot of good writers use that too to kind of be able to flesh out good characters. And then I also bought some histories of certain cultures that I want to base some of my races off of. And so I have a lot of reading, and I'm basically thinking of it as like having my own coursework, since I still kind of have a weird college mind frame. I figure if I think of them as taking a couple courses and reading them about as often as I can and kind of taking notes, that it'll be good for me, and I think it will help give me a better understanding of what I'm doing with my writing. And even if this writing falls through, it'll give me a better understanding of what I need to do for next time when I am writing. Nick's been super supportive of all of this too. He's been really excited about all of it. I've been trying to find work, and I've been, throwing my resume around and applying to things, but it's the same story that it always has been. I'm not quite searching as hard as I had been because it's still the same old story of nobody responding. And Nick has been kind of urging me to try to do things at home, to craft more, to knit or crochet or sew more or write more, do things that I enjoy, do things that make me happy, try to maybe sell the things that I make, or try to finish a novella or something, try to sell my work, try to get myself out there and try to do things that make me happy. Because he kind of doesn't want me to continue to just be depressed in the workforce or whatnot, I guess. But he's been very supportive of me staying home and reading and researching and doing things I'm doing. I don't sit at home and play WoW all day. Sometimes it seems like I do. I'll take days off and just do nothing but play WoW, but most of the time I'm working on stuff. Like I'm still working on his sweater, and I'm working on a sweater pattern that I want to publish for free online to kind of get my stuff out and whatnot. But I don't know. As you can see, my library of craft books has grown exponentially. It used to only be like 1 or 2 books leaning against that mesh thing, and now it's full. And then my yarn stash is full, and now I have a full crafting sewing stash too. I have this beautiful fabric and another beautiful fabrics, and I have this stretchy knit fabric and stuff, and tons of stuff you don't care about. So, yeah. Well, that's all for me. You can respond tomorrow or whenever you're free. But yeah, it was a pleasant surprise to find your video again. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye!